was a temporary school. We moved children there to a new school. So we have to close water, we have to close electricity because we could not pay water in a place that we're not. So we've moved those children on the basis of the decision we took on Friday. But I've since instructed the HOD and the DDG responsible that we just have to spread those children across all other schools. We can't keep them under one roof, one school, because we don't have that capacity to keep them. So we are reworking on that one. I've also received representation from other teacher unions who want their teachers to be at a certain school, not at at other schools. So the HOD and the district officials are managing that aspect. So remember, we took this decision as a temporary decision. So these children were not meant to be there permanently. But I've since advised the HOD to remedy the situation, regardless that place was closed. We're working with the municipality to attend to some of the issues that need to be attended where our learners are. It's just that I didn't want to postpone their future. I didn't want to postpone the missing classes for an hour, for a minute. So where we are, I'm going to meet with the mediators tomorrow morning. I've cancelled everything that is my diary for the next 6 days to attend to this matter personally. I've committed myself to find a solution within the shortest possible time. I'm willing to meet with the people that the community have appointed to come and meet with me. I've convened a meeting with community structures tomorrow evening, and that will be my 34th meeting with them. And I'm hopeful that we'll find a solution. As I said, I don't want us to provide education in the circumstances that we find ourselves in that community. And I want to apologize to the parents of these learners that the situation is completely unattainable. I accept that their children have to wake up early in the morning. They have to be in an environment that is problematic. They have to make extra arrangements in terms of some of the transport areas where we leave their children. And for that, wholeheartedly apologize for the inconvenience. But to me, it's an affirmation and confirmation that an education of a child comes first, and I'm not prepared to compromise that aspect. But I'm also not going to allow anarchy to dictate how we run education in this province. Because we allow one community to determine who must be a principal, then we'll never have education in this country. So we need to ensure that indeed where there are genuine concerns, those concerns must be addressed. And I've committed myself in the last 33 meetings with them. People have walked out of my last meeting. People have requested that I appoint certain individuals to act. I've done that. They've requested me to appoint investigators. I've done that. So I've demonstrated my commitment to resolve this issue. And I still want to extend that commitment to resolve this matter with whoever that wants to meet with me. As I said, I've already cleared my diary to ensure that I attend to this issue personally and ensure that all learners are accommodated in an institution that will allow education to take place. You will see from the statement that Phumla will give it to you later on that we have now fully complied with all the legal requirements of closing a school because there are legal processes that need to be followed if you have to close a school. We have already complied with that process. We have notified the SGB. We have notified the principal. We now have almost 8 new schools that are willing to accommodate some of our children. I've checked with the leadership of the district to indeed verify whether it's not going to cause extra pain to parents. When I'm saying extra pain to parents, I mean in terms of scholar transport, in terms of school nutrition, in terms of school uniform, in terms of the teachers that need to teach them, and in terms of their readiness to write their annual national assessment. The curriculum team has already finalized the catch-up plan that we'll need to put in place, and we're checking the possibility of ensuring that these children during the school holidays will be requested to attend lessons so that they can catch up on the lost time. And if we can manage to deal with these matters, I'll be in a position to attend to other issues that need my attention. I want to conclude by clarifying this matter. I've clarified to you the process of appointing a school principal. That process is determined by the community. It has never been determined by a single individual. But I'm one person that obviously I can't sit here when there's disruption and defend one person that is the cause of the entire disruption. I personally met with the teacher union that represent that principal to say, you are aware that education of our children is held at ransom. Please allow me to have an interim principal while this situation is being addressed. And the teacher union concerned is open-minded to that issue. So I'm trying other alternative mechanisms that will allow us to resolve this impasse. So I'm very flexible, open-minded, willing to resolve this impasse within the shortest possible time. So I'll continue to engage with all teacher unions. I'll continue to engage with all community structures. And I've invited all this organization to the meeting that I've convened for tomorrow evening so that we can resolve this matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. We'll now take questions from the floor. I'll take Sipo. I'll take you. Can I get 5 hands at least? I've got 2 hands. 3, 4, 5. Let's start with you.
Are you saying that you have now requested the principal, Mrs. Mulefe, to kind of step aside so that you deal with the issues, or temporarily step aside so that you deal with the issues?
I've spoken to the union that she's a member. Remember, the demands that are currently on the table are, or they concern the principal and the 2 deputy principals. And in resolving this issue, you need to attend to that kind of leadership. Because there is no way that will allow learners to be exposed to violence or allow parents to stop learners from coming to school. And I fold my arms and say, I'm rigid. I need to be flexible. I need to be open-minded. I need to attend to these issues. Because I take community participation very serious. I'm a product of that process, actually. I mean, I was a student lead. I've led very much, and I hated a management that was rigid. So I can't be rigid. And I need to be sympathetic. But there are bottom lines, and there are non-negotiables as well. So I wouldn't hold the education of all our children in that area because of 1 or 3 people. I also need to enter that space, and I want to confirm that I've entered that space now. And I'll wait for the results of that discussion.
Thank you.
Panyaza from EWA. Following yesterday, we've got 2 teachers that apparently passed out because of what we were told. It's because of what the department told the fellow teachers. Can you clarify what was told to them and where are the teachers? And then, second of all, I'd like to ask, this is a question which I got from the parents. That in you taking the children from the school where they currently are at Rodepoort and taking them to the alternative school, most of them are complaining that no consultation was given to them in terms of their kids will be moved from here to here, and indemnity forms weren't signed, and we also have an allegation of that there's a child who was actually lost yesterday because they were dropped off at a random place and the parents could not find the child. Can I get a response to that?
I'm one person, if people throw mud at you, I throw soap. I will not throw mud to any person. So if a parent say, my child is lost, I'll be the first person to go and look for that child. Because I'm the custodian of these children. So I've never done that. I've never received any report that there is a child that's lost. And I'll extend to that parent that lost the child that notify us, we'll look for that child. But on all our records, all the children can be accounted for. So I don't want to throw mud to any person. I'll throw soap. Secondly, tell me what is consultation if I had 33 meetings with community members there at night, in some instances the entire day, and I had 3 mass meetings with parents. And if you say I've not consulted, on Friday the Premier was there to consult out of a meeting that was held the night before with community structures. So I will not be in a position to say I'm not consulting. I really believe that I've over-consulted on this issue. The blame should be on the people that come to the meetings claiming to represent the community, but not briefing the community. That's where the blame should be. Because I can't meet with people 33 times within 11 months. You can make your calculation. I was literally spending my time there. And I'm currently busy with matric exams. That's what I'm doing now. I have to postpone the future of all other children that are writing matric because I want to check the reports whether our children are ready to write matric. I was in Brongospruit the entire day tomorrow meeting with all the principals of rural schools because that's where performance needs to happen. I need to prepare our children for their future. I can't postpone the future of other children because parents in other areas don't want their children to go to school. And let me give you the statistics. The school was not closed for the entire week last week. Out of 1,300 learners odd, we had less than 350 learners being at school. And the school was not closed. It was not closed. So anyone therefore that accuses us that we've closed the school, we are closing out their children to go to school, that person is misleading society because that school was not closed for 3 weeks, but the learners were not there. And learners, when they were going to school in that community, people were opening dogs to bite them. People were kidnapping those children for almost 4 hours. People were making it impossible for children from other communities to access that community. Should I fold my arms and say it's normal? It can't be. I can't expose a 6-year-old to be beaten by dogs. I can't expose a 6-year-old to be taken outside of a classroom by an elderly person that he does not know or she does not know. I have to protect these young ones. And I'm not saying in the process of executing our responsibility to defend these young ones, we might not have faltered. Definitely might have faltered. And that is why even during this moment, I will apologize to those people that believe that we have not handled this matter in a correct manner. I truly apologize because I put the interest of the young ones before. I'm the custodian of these children. What will you say, all of you, if one child is going to be hit by a brick and that child passed on? Are you not going to blame me as a custodian of these children? What will happen if one parent loses a child? You will going to come here and say, MEC, you are responsible for the school, therefore I must take blame. I need to be proactive. So that is why I'm saying I'm meeting mediators tomorrow. I'm stepping out so that the mediators must meet and give me recommendations. We'll share those recommendations with the Premier as he appointed that mediating team. And I've gone for bigger people, big people that have credibility in society to mediate. We've got South Africans that have the interest of this country who can mediate out of this problem. And now approach them to say, you've got good standing in society, don't have any political affiliation, you are not seen as white or black or colored, you are just a South African, can you come? And they've responded to my messages. That is why I'm meeting them tomorrow morning. To say, I want South Africans to come and mediate and assist us because this is not a problem of education, it's a problem of all of us actually. So if you think it's a problem of MEC for Education or Department of Education, you are wrong. That child belongs to all of us. So it's a problem of all of us. I've caught South Africans of good standing in society. They've responded positively. I've even fielded a call to Advocate Tulima Tonzel. So come and assist me. So I've gone to South Africans and I'm going to speak to her. I'm going to speak to... it's just unfortunate that the bishop have gone back to hospital. I'll speak to all South Africans that I believe can come and assist us here. People that we know, they have no affiliation and they can assist us. Yeah? I've sent the team to speak to former DG of government, Reverend Frank Chikane. I've sent a team to speak to Bishop Moerani in the So you can see I've went to South Africa because I want to resolve the impasse. And that is why I want South Africans that have time, credibility to come and assist us to deal with these issues. I mean, there are some former ministers that are no longer ministers in cabinet that have also approached them. They've been in these situations before. They've dealt with situation of Mirafung before. We want to tap in their expertise to say, come and assist here. So I'm really going all out to solve this problem. So that is why anyone who insulted me, I'm not going to insult them back. It's not in my character. I've not been raised that way. I know I've got a bag full of soap that I'll use to clean the processes that we find ourselves. So the two teachers, I only received a report as one teacher, not two. I'm not sure if there were two. The report that I've received that there's one teacher that when they were presented with letters, because it's labor relations. You follow your workstation. I mean, if children move from here to go, teachers must follow learners. That's how it is. And if you are not at work for 14 days, it's taken as an abscondment. So we terminate your contract. That's how it is. It's not my rule. It's in the labor relations. So if you say go here and then you don't want to go there, 14 days expires, you are not at the workstation, it's taken as abscondment, and then your contract is terminated. That's how labor laws work. And I'm very sympathetic. So I've asked my team to give me the physical address of that teacher. I'll personally visit that teacher. If it has, as I said, if it's out of our decisions that made her to be in that position, I'll be the first one to apologize. As I said, I've apologized. I'm not saying that we are clean in this process. In the process of executing our responsibilities, we might hurt other people. And I accept that. And I'm one person that will openly apologize to society. Say, society, this is not normal. I think we all accept this is not normal. So we need to find a way of dealing with these things. I don't want police in my schools. I want my children to play at school, not to dodge rubber bullets or dark stun grenades or stun grenades. I don't want them to. You know, so I have to find a mechanism of closing this chapter as quickly as possible. And what I can assure you, I'm more than committed to close this chapter. And that is why I've cleared my diary to say anyone who wants to call me anywhere, I'll go to solve this problem.
Thank you, MC. We had another hand. Yes.
Lindy Sarame from KFM News. I just wanted to know, will anything be done for the kids who have been traumatized through this ordeal and those who were caught in the scuffle that happened this morning? And I also want to know, I don't know if you're aware that some of the parents are saying that they've organized for churches, for the kids to go to the church and for retired teachers to teach them because they're not prepared to, cooperate and to have the school closed permanently. So I just want to know if you're aware of these things, and for those teachers who don't want the kids to go to the 8 schools that you've mentioned, what will be done about them?
Let me raise this. Anyone who wants their children to be taught will enjoy my support. If they need study material in that church, I'll deliver it. Because that's what I want. I want children to learn. But the reality that they must learn in their own school, why can't you solve the problem that made them not to be at school? That's what we need to solve. You must not avoid that. You can have extra session in a church, have retired thing. It's just that there are formalities. There are forms that need to be filled. There are marks that need to be submitted. So you can't just do these ad hoc arrangements. Let's solve the problem. who stop learners from coming to school, and what are the reasons? We must not miss that point, fellow South Africans. Why are these children not at school? Because if you miss that point, then we're not going to solve the problem. They are not at school because adults stopped other children from other areas to enter that school. That's the reason. Adults intimidated children not to be at that school. People brought weapons in that school. People threw petrol bombs in that school. That's the reason. So let's solve the problem. And I'm willing to solve that problem and to attend to that problem. Actually, it's just that there are some things that you don't get them even if you want them. I don't want to expose those children to stun grenades, buses being attacked. But to me, it's a validation of the decision that we've taken, that there are people that are stopping children to go to school, good people. Stopping a 6-year-old to go to school as an adult. So I will deal with those situations. As I said, I'm stepping aside, requesting the mediators to mediate. They'll give us a report. I hope when I meet with them tomorrow morning, those that have agreed, I'll be in a position to persuade them to ensure that within the next 48 hours, they must resolve this impasse. And then we'll then brief the Premier and everyone and we'll take a decision. But if the situation, the way it is, continues, we just have to find a way of speedily resolving it.
Thank you, MC. I'll take the walk and then move over to the side. Please allow me, Marangeli. Just the walk so that I'm done with the side.
What I wanted to find out is, I saw the unions are also complaining that teachers were moved without you consulting with them. I just wanted to find out how that is going to work. And if teachers, because yesterday the teachers did not report to the new school. Some of them were still Rodepoort. Today they reported to the new school.
I'm waiting for today's report. I've not received today's report. That's why you'll see the statement as report until yesterday. But I know that we had an increased enrollment today in terms of learners at the areas that were supposed to be there. Indeed, we might have not consulted all teacher unions, and that is why I apologize that we might, in the rush to protect children, because we took the decision on Friday, and then we need to implement that decision on Monday. In the process, might have left out other people. But in the community meeting that I addressed with community structure, some of the teacher unions attended that meeting. And I'm inviting them again tomorrow. I'm meeting with all community structures, teacher unions, political parties, because I tried to ensure that I consult everyone. I mean, I've consulted the DA, EFF, I've consulted everyone. Actually, when I met with the community structures, the DA was with us. We met in the same meeting. So I went to the portfolio committee, were there. They took a decision to support us on this issue. So we are taking politics out of it and putting the interest of learners there. So we'll deal with these things. The teacher unions that feel that they were not consulted, I share their frustration. I've convened another meeting tomorrow. I'll raise the issues that I need to raise with them so that we can clear the matters. But we must not avoid the issue. The issue is that children must learn at their own school. They must not learn in other schools. So we have to solve the problem that makes children not to be at their own school. And that is why I'm saying the sooner those that believe they've got the responsibility to resolve this impasse, if bangibeza ukuthi ngizekhoneni ngizozekhoneni ngizosolve the problem.
Thank you, MC. We'll go to Malungelo.
I just want to find out, are you satisfied that teaching is taking place within your school? Because when we were there earlier, we found pupils sorting out desks instead of learning. And the other thing is, you're saying about 8 schools have expressed willingness to receive these pupils from Rodepoort Primary School. one of the things you have said time and time and again is that these pupils are far behind on their academic work. How is that going to work? Are they going to be taught in separate classes? How is that? Just help me understand. Thank you.
But if you have a new school that was closed, it means there were no chairs. So you have to prepare those things. Because the school was closed. And I would rather have children in a schooling environment rather than have them roaming in the streets and be exposed to social problems. So they are better off in the schooling environment. Whether they are taught a chapter or 2 chapters or 3 chapters, to me, the most important thing is that the academic space must be created for them to learn. And I'm quite convinced that we are creating that space. And that is why I'm open-minded. Some parents will say, I don't want my children to go to Lufureng. I want my child to go to Rodepoort and other things. Those are the schools I'm talking about. So that if the parents say, I understand my child can be at Rodepoort, but my child is better off not at Lufureng or Dobsonville, or is better off at Rodepoort, I'm open-minded. We must make arrangements to ensure that child goes to that school. Whether that child's curriculum is behind and other things, teachers are trained to manage these things. They are trained to take learners accordingly and deal those things. Others will write an exercise, and others will be given work to do so that they cover that space. So I don't want to enter that debate of teachers and other things. I trust my officials. I think they're committed. They've demonstrated commitment to assist these children, and in a position to deal with these matters. Remember, out of 1,300 odd learners there, 141 are colored learners, almost 1,000 are learners that come from a certain community. And that community have said to me, we want our children to go to this area. So I can't be against their wishes. So I have to manage all these dynamics, unfortunately. But I'm not going to run away from my responsibilities. I take full responsibility. And in my relationship with you, you know, I don't postpone problems, I solve problems. I'll never postpone a problem. I'll rather deal with the consequences of the decisions that I've taken, but I'll never postpone a problem. If there is a problem, I'll go there head on and deal with that problem. And that's how I've managed situations before. I've never failed. So I will take that approach even now. That there is a problem, I must confront it head on, and I'm confronting it head on.
Thank you, Missy. We had other hands. Let's just start with the gentleman over there.
But surely it's a hospital and it is sterilized department. And they will tell us the department has been loaded financially to carry on the relationship. And number 2, the people mentioning these very specific people that are as the department will be able to assess who are the who are behind or who should not the third force or whatever.
I have the name. I've interdicted. I went to court. I've got a court interdict with the names. I know who's disrupting schooling there. I've got their names and their physical addresses. I've handed it over to a court of law. A court of law agreed with me that indeed they're disrupting education. So that's what I'm saying. On this issue, I've done everything according to the book. There's nothing that I've not done. I've opened cases. There are people that came with guns. We went to the police station to open a case. There are people that intimidated learners. I went to court to interdict them. The people that came into a school, against my belief, I appointed an armed security company to be at the school. There are people that wanted to meet me in a church. I met with them 15 times in a church to solve this problem. There are people that came to me to say, we need investigations. I've appointed people to investigate. So what more must I do? I've done everything that was required. So, let me tell you, and the HOD will confirm this. When it comes to the education of especially an African child, when it comes to their education, costs are nothing to me. They are meaningless. The education of a child comes first. We'll deal with the costs. So I'm not going to say I can't provide education here. That is why they didn't have desks The HOD, I told HOD, go and buy desks. Or go and find desks somewhere. So the education of a child will never be postponed because we don't have money. I don't work that way. Sort the problem. That is why when some people come and say school X does not have the furniture and other things, the HOD knows. I get angry because I don't want to say these children don't have desks because we didn't have money. You can rather take me to jail. But children must get education and proper education. They must get school nutrition. They must get scholar transport. Will solve those problems as long as children are in class studying. That's the bottom line.
What is your message to those people?
Which one?
The one that is done. What is your message? Can't you?
No. I don't want to communicate with them through you. I've got a meeting tomorrow, and I'll communicate with them.
Thank you, Mr. Thanks. Your question.
Sure.
Sianda from Witness News. MEC, I would just like to follow up on some concerns that the parents raised at their school. They claim that the standards of education have dropped under the current principal. I was wondering if the reports encompass that and whether you had any reaction to the standards of education at the school, because they claim that when they have to move on, for instance, the grade 7s, when they have to move on to high school, they cannot progress because the standards have dropped.
There's no tangible evidence. They're just people that wants to amplify their side of their story. There's no tangible evidence. Children are writing annual national assessment. We just have to wait the outcome of annual national assessment of those schools and the surrounding schools and determine whether it's different. And I can tell you it's not different. It's just that if you have to amplify your story and strengthen your argument, you'll clutch at straws and raise issues that are far from reality. I can't justify. What I can justify that between January and August, where we are, these children are indeed behind with their syllabus. That I can tell you. But whether if they go to other high schools, those children can't read and write, I doubt.
Thank you, MEC. We'll take Sibongile.
MEC, is it safe then to say that these children have been taught these past 2 days, yesterday and today, since they moved to this new school, that had nothing?
I didn't get the report for today, but yesterday you might know they were arriving for the first time there, so there were logistical arrangements that they have to go through. I'm quite convinced that after those logistical arrangements, they will be taught, because there are teachers that have reported, the additional teachers that have reported for duty as well. So I hope that situation will be normalized. But it's not a normal situation, so you can expect that there will be some abnormal activities there. But to me, they are better off in a schooling environment than in the street. So that's my bottom line. They are better off in a schooling environment. Whether they are taught or not taught, as long as they are in the schooling environment, they are better off, rather than being exposed to people who are smoking wrong things in society.
Karen?
How far behind are they?
They are far behind.
Can you clarify?
It's difficult, Karen, to say that they are far with this portfolio, with this language. I mean, they're taking various languages, but they are far behind. That I can tell you. I can't say they are far with phonetics or with what. I mean, I can't go to that those details, but and that is why I'm the way I am. Maybe people don't understand. The reason why I'm very committed to resolve this problem is because, these are long-term effects. These are long. You miss a certain base in education, you've missed out completely. I mean, when I was doing my matric in 1988, we didn't write exams, and I know I was at the forefront. But the effects of that has affected me my entire life. So I know what I'm talking about. So I really don't want these children to miss out. The only consoling things is that they will remain within the system. So we still have time to work them out. It can be next year, it can be other thing. But the problem is that when you have this kind of activities, parents start to remove their children there to take them to other schools. And they take them to other schools, they lose out of the collective remedial action that we are taking, because they're taken to another school and they will struggle alone there. So that is why I'm very worried. I don't want even to postpone the closure of the school with an extra hour. That is why I say, let us meet with those that want us to meet with us to solve this problem. Because if you don't meet and solve it, then the problem will prolong. We don't solve problem by throwing stones, unfortunately.
Thank you, MEC. We'll come back to the side. Slee, I'll take you.
Hi, MEC. Slee Jacaranda. I just wanted to know what's going to happen tomorrow. Are the kids still getting bused? Have the 8 schools, have they been sorted out into those 8 schools? And will there be some protection for the buses, considering what happened this morning? And then the principal, as far as I understand the report, she was cleared.
Yeah.
So, I mean, surely there should be some steps taken to defend her, or are you willing to sacrifice her, maybe redeploy her?
No, I'm not willing to defend an individual. I'm willing to defend learners. That's my position. I'm willing to defend learners. Individuals are not in my priority list. If there must be casualties there will be. But I'll do it within the law. Remember, everyone has rights as well. But the interest of learners come first. That I'm not prepared to compromise. Individuals, unfortunately, I'm not committed to that part. But I must protect their rights. And that I will do. Whatever decision we take as a department collectively, we'll do it in that particular fashion. So tomorrow, I want to have a session with the police to give me an indication. If they indicate that to collect learners like at the gate of that school is a risky session or a risky process, we'll just have to find an...
And delay the response time by emergency medical services, especially in rural areas.
Honorable Kubisa.
Madam Speaker, on the next sitting day of this House, I shall move on behalf of the NFP that the House deliberates on the way the South African Music Rights Organization SAMRO deals with all affairs of musicians, particularly the payments or royalties and other benefits to musicians in the Republic of South Africa. This emanates from the allegation that SAMRO has failed to account for the payout of